Weekly, GarageBand, GarageBand Weekly, GarageBand Weekly. Ooh. Need an answer to your question. John, you'll have a suggestion. Who's a fountain of all knowledge? I think he might have gone to GarageBand College. What he doesn't know, we'll try and find out. So join the chat and give him a shout. Here's John. Here's John. GarageBand Weekly.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome into GarageBand Weekly, a very special edition because guess what? The whole world has just improved. We have iOS 18, iPadOS 18, macOS Sequoia. They're all available to download and install right now. Should you install them? Should you use them? Are they any good? I'm going to answer all those questions for you. Let's do it quickly. Is it any good? Yeah, it's fine. Should you install it now? Probably not. Is there any rush or urgency to do it? No. There you go. All right, show's over, guys. See you next time. No, we will dive into that in just a jiffy. We've got some news and notes to talk about here, all about iOS and iPadOS 18, about the new macOS updates, about some of the cool things that we can now do and that are coming to the world of iOS. And don't forget, all the new gear is out now too. So yeah, it's new gear day, it's new software day, it's new everything day. So as far as GarageBand and Logic Pro and Apple-related creators go, it's kind of our Christmas right now in September. September's always a big month, September, October, with iOS and macOS updates and with new gear and a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. So that's what we'll be doing in this here very video. So yeah, news and notes, let's dive in. Number one, we got new updates. iOS 18 is now dropped. Now I've been playing with the beta version on some of my devices. So I've showed that when it was first released about 6 weeks ago, and I showed you all the cool ins and outs. We'll take another little look at some of the main features again here today when we dive into the main section there. I haven't installed macOS. I have my old Mac Mini that I'm planning to put the new macOS Sequoia on and have a little fiddle with that in the coming days and weeks. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And I released a video just yesterday about why you probably shouldn't. And can we say this up front? Can you all say it together with me? Yeah. It's the middle of Songtember, people. If you're in the middle of a major project, if you have that song that you're working on, if you've got a work deadline, if you've got something where you don't want anything to mess up at all, just don't worry about it. Just do it. Don't think about it, just install it. Or just do that. Because that's the thing. That's the thing with advice is that there's two ways to go. You can just live on the edge, go YOLO, baby. I don't want the FOMO. I'm just going to go and do this thing and then hang the consequences. And then you'll be the one coming crying to me in a day's time where you're like, but my Mixbox CS compressor doesn't work and now my song sounds like a garbage. Well, yeah, that's the risk that you take. So go ahead and do it if you want to, or just watch along, because I got enough devices here that we're going to be able to get it installed and take a look at it on a few different places. Speaking of which, I've got my mate, my old buddy, my old pal, my old compadre, Past Pete, and he's got a few words about the setup that we've got here to use today to check these out. So before we dive into our other news and notes, let's jump over and have a chat to Past Pete. Thanks, Future Pete. Yes, we've got a bit of a setup going on here. I've got my iPhone SE2. That's what I'm going to be installing live here on the show to see exactly how long it takes to install iOS 18. I'm still running iOS 17 on my main daily driver iPad for reasons that we'll talk about in a moment. And I'm updating to iPadOS 18 on this, my 2020 iPad Pro. So there's lots going on here. The studio's an absolute mess, full of devices, but hey, first world problems. Back to you. Thank you, Past Pete. Always a reliable source of information here in the studio whenever I need to know what happened about 5 minutes ago here. So that is where we're at. That's what's going on here. We'll dive in and get really stuck into this stuff. It's going to be a bit casual. There's going to be things flying everywhere. We'll be putting things up on the screen and showing you all the different things you can do if you choose to do them. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Other news and notes. There's this little thing called Songtember that's also happening at the moment. So now I need to find I've got so many mouses and so many different devices here going on that I'm going to have to find a way to really just streamline things here a little bit. Let's bring up an extra camera here. We're going to throw my USB. Nope, it doesn't like that. This is going to be fun. I've had this problem with StreamYard the last few days. This could make for an interesting show if I can't actually show my iPad, if I can't select the USB output. I might have to adapt and improvise here, but let's just see if we can do this again. Always best laid plans worked perfectly in the pre-show. Then you come here to do it live, and yeah, no, it's absolutely crapping out. So no, StreamYard won't do it. That's okay. I have a backup plan. So let's see if my backup plan is going to come to fruition. I haven't used this app in a while, which is exactly what you want to hear from someone who's about to do something and do it live. We'll say g'day. While I get this set up, we'll say g'day to the folks who are here live, shall we? We'll just go a little bit out of order here. So hello to Emilio, hello to Mark Bro, hello to Thomas Christ, hello to Andy Aspine, hello to Sean Chandler, g'day to you, Sebastian Zwak. I say your name differently every time, I'll get it right once. Yeah, 17.7 is also available. That's a good point made there. So you can update to 17.7. That's just some security fixes. That won't cause you any problems. Hello to Jade Star. Hello to Ed Z. I hope you are doing well. My friend Ali Gratilla. I hope you're good. Skeeter Melody. We've got Joe and Barry Glenn who are here as well. And I think I've covered everyone. If I'm scrolling up, Jenny Jolivet is lurking while working. The amount of people that must get a lot of lurking done, I respect it. As someone who came out of the corporate world and don't really want to go back, yeah, you don't really need your full attention on jobs. Trust me. All right. You must pronounce my name like German for black. Schwach. Sebastian Schwach. I don't even know what German for black is. Nero. That's Italian, isn't it? G'day, Barry Glenn as well. And hello to the rise of Dark Leela. I actually caught some of Leela's show for the first time in a while today, which was cool. I don't see Leela too often. Let's see if this is going to work. I don't think so. I might be able to show you. I might be able to show you things, but potentially not. Oh, look. Yeah, it's alive. Do you remember this? We're going old school here, folks. For those that have been around the channel for a while, look at this. It's Reflector. It's so old, it's still showing the old iPad Air 2 outline, which is kind of hilarious. And I simply wonder if we're going to be able to get the audio coming out the right spot. I doubt it. Let's unplug and replug and try this. Oh, the old Reflector. How delightful to see you, my friend. Let's see if we can get this working for us. So it's still got HDMI. It might just get confused. But, oh, there it goes. We got the Steinberg. And there we have it. Can we change this? Can we change this outline? That's really distracting. Let's come here to our settings. And let's make our, what are we looking for? I haven't used this in so long, I've forgotten how to use it. You can change what the outline is, but I can't remember where to do that. It's not in the settings here, it's somewhere else. There you go, we're gonna have to deal with it as it goes. So we'll embiggen it here. Oh, it looks so funny just to have it with the outline like that. Oh, I reckon it's down here. There we go. Frame was the iPad mini space gray. Let's go the iPad Pro and space gray. Oh, see, it's gone the old school iPad Pro. This is funny as stuff. They haven't updated. Haven't updated it since then. Can we go the iPad Air? No, they're all the old version of the frames. Let's go no frame. That looks a little bit less ridiculous. Okay, let's give this a play. So I said all that to say I'm working on my Songtember song. So the other update that we have is Songtember is a thing at the moment. If you missed the last episode, Jode Star did some drums for us, and these are those very drums. Listen to how cool they sound. These are rock and roll drums right here. Let's see if it's going to come through. It's best if you don't just solo the kick drum. Let's bring it into the track.
Don't need no graduates on my lunchtime. Don't need no coffee for my cream, no, none for me. Don't need no hunches
And yes, of course, Jane couldn't resist going like the double kick drums going into there. This song gets more and more rocking every time. Yes, the drum is definitely hot. We need to do some volume balance adjustments and some compression adjustments and maybe change out a couple of kit pieces. But hey, guess what? I didn't have to program any of the drums, so I'm a happy chappy. It's very cool stuff. So we'll be playing around with that, and we'll be mixing that in shows in days to come. So you got that to look forward to. In other news, I also now I've got to work out how to turn off this reflector. This is the Pete doesn't know what he's doing edition of this show, and then people are like, "Isn't that every week?" Yeah. But there's something that has just been released. As you know, I'm a big IK Multimedia fan. And the IK folks said to me, now I know, Johns, don't freak out. I know you're a mobile guy. I know you're a mobile creator primarily. But do you use desktop? And I'm like, as it so happens, I've just got myself a nice Mac Studio, and I'm actually tinkering back in Logic Pro on the Mac again, as well as GarageBand on Mac. And they said, well, would you like to try out our new mastering suite called T-Rack 6? And I said, yes. So I haven't actually played with it for more than about 10 minutes so far, but I just wanted to mention it because for my song Timber Song, I will be mastering it using this thing, and it's pretty cool. I've watched a bunch of videos about it already, and it's got the ability to load in reference mixes, and then this one here, the Master Match X, is like an automated master generation thing. They've got a whole bunch of outboard like gear that you can add in here, including things like tape players and look at this, they got the TIAC Porter 1, so you can make it go through like an old TIAC Porter 1 tape, like 4-track, and get that kind of vibe on there. So I'm like, for this song, this could be kind of perfect. Because I didn't have a Porter 1, I had a Porter Studio 424. But yeah, just looking at these dials, like it's just so nostalgic. Just takes you back. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to playing with that. Now, it is a standalone mastering app. It's also plugins as well, and there's a whole suite of different plugins of different vintage EQs and compressors and all sorts of cool stuff in here. If you've played with Mixbox CS that I've showed here on iPad, then you'll be pretty familiar with the sort of thing this can do, but this is like a whole next level with a bunch of mastering plugins and stuff that we can play around with. So yeah, I'm saying that to say this year, we've gone voice memos to GarageBand iOS to Logic Pro iOS, and we're actually going to land in Logic Pro Mac and then into the mastering suite here with T-Rack 6. So it's going to be a fun time. So regardless of what you're using, you're going to find something. And am I great at Logic Pro? No. So you'll get to watch me struggle through that as well. Yeah, it is. It's a new toy, and it's not the sort of thing I play. If you know me, I don't like plugins. I say no to more plugins. I'm like John West with his fish. It's an Australian reference, but it's the plugins Pete rejects that makes Pete's life a lot simpler. But what I do like is these integrated plugins where you don't have to have a whole bunch of different files. You just whack this one thing on there and you got access to a bunch of cool stuff. It's why I liked Mixbox CS so much when I checked that out. And it made me think about it. I'm like, I need to go back to Mixbox CS because I actually really enjoyed that. That had some really good exciters and things in there that I can use in my projects. But we'll see. Exactly, and that's the thing. You can do great stuff in GarageBand. You can do great stuff in Logic. You can do all the things. You don't need to use. And I've been resisting using anything outside of stock plugins for a very long time, and I don't think it's really been detrimental. In fact, it's made my life a lot more easy and relaxed. Shall we dive in? You're here to see iOS 18 and iPadOS 18. So the first thing I want to do is I am going to, I'm just going to close a few different things here. Let's get our friend's reflector back up here. We'll just close that one down, which is what we're going to have to use. And it's actually, I have to use it for this because I need to show you the process here. So if you are considering it, if you've listened to my videos, if you've taken all of my advice and you still say, nah, I just want to go with it, then let's actually do that. Let's see if in the next 45 minutes we can actually install this on my iPhone SE2. So I'm going to fire it up here. I'm going to pop it over on the screen. Good thing about Reflector is it's very high res. So it looks a lot better than the HDMI that we usually have go through. So here it is. Here's my iPhone, and we need to go into settings, and we need to go to our general settings tab here, like so. We need to go to software update. It's going to check. So if you want to play along at home, you can do the same checks and balances here. Now, what I would recommend right now is to update to iOS 17.7. That is mainly a security update, no new features or anything, but you can just go ahead and do that. And then down here, you'll see this one here, which is upgrade to iOS 18. That's what we're going to tap on here. And we're going to update now. And we can set your timers, folks, because we've got 43 minutes left in the show here. Can I get this installed before the end of the show? We're going to put my passcode in, which I'm going to come back over here for. And make sure it's not being displayed, even though this is like my burner phone, so it doesn't actually have the same passcode as any of my main gear. We're going to get some terms and conditions here to accept. We're going to agree to those. So tap the agree button, tap the really agree button. That I definitely read them. You can be sure of that button, and there you go. It's requested. So here's the problem. This is why don't do this. Has anyone made the mistake of updating just before they're like about to go on a trip, or you're about to do something important and you're like, crap, it's requested now. It's going to need to do the install process at some stage, and I have no idea when that's going to be. So at the moment it's saying about 3 minutes remaining. Mark's saying his took about 10 minutes, so we'll see how ours goes. We're underway here. Will it be completely ready to roll by the end of the show? Who bloody knows? But in the meantime, I'm just going to put one iPad to the side. I do feel like a bit of a wanker when I'm like playing around. I'm like, oh, just put that iPad Pro to the side and let's grab this iPad Pro. But it is also my job. Like if I was an architect, I'd probably have more than one pencil, right? So I don't feel too bad about having two iPads and two iPhones. So let's go. There you go. Oh, so Mark's updated one of his phones as well out of the gate. Your Apple Watch taken over an hour. Oh, yeah, there's new Apple Watch OS, isn't there? I haven't even kept track of that. I rarely worry too much about Apple Watch stuff. So let us see. Can we do this? Because I've got a feeling I can now send my iPad to the screen as well, and we can have multi-screen goodness. Oh, we can. Okay, this is kind of cool. Oh, and it's updated. It's updated the frame. I don't know how, but for this iPad, check it out. It's updated the frame for whatever reason. The other one, it didn't have that one, but for this one, it does. Why do I only have one screen? This is weird. Before the update, oh, there we go. It just won't. It's being very temperamental. This is why you don't update. Like you used to be able to just do a little flick move and it would go. Now it seems I have to pull all the way across before these go across, which is a bit weird. But yeah, this is cool. So now we can keep an eye on the iPhone update while we jump in here and play around with iPadOS on this one. So if there's any specific things you've seen that you think are cool that you want me to try or show here, go ahead and do it. So let's dive in here. Where are we? 19 minutes in. By the way, timestamps in the description for those that want to jump around. Should have said that at the start of the show for those watching on the replay. But now, let's dive in here and take a look at what some of the new options are. Before we do that, actually, let's just resize this one down a little if we can, because we don't need that quite so big. We'll just drop that to the corner like so we can get a little more screen real estate for our iPad here so we can see it in all its glory. There we go. Pop that there on the front, and that can sit in behind, waiting to update. All right, so let us dive in here and show you some things. Number one thing I want to say is there is no Apple Intelligence in iPadOS 18.0. So if you came here to see Apple Intelligence, yeah, there's none. It's not here yet. It is coming, apparently. The beta version of 18.1, 18.0 doesn't have any Apple Intelligence. 18.1 has some of it, but realistically, it's going to be next year before we see a lot of this stuff. October, we'll see some. It's going to be next year before we see a lot. So if you've come here just for all the cool new AI features, I hate to break it to you, but there will be no AI features. The first feature that we'll jump into here, yes, the calculator app. We'll show the Let's start with the calculator. Let's go with the calculator app to start with, because Andy's asked about it. So there is a new calculator app. And this is something that when they announced iPadOS 18, that they said was like pretty amazing. And they showed it. Maths Notes is what it's called. And yes, here in Australia, it's Maths Notes because it's mathematics, not mathematic. And we can say yes. So you can actually do. And you can see here that I've actually already been playing around with this Maths Notes feature in the previous version. But what we'll do is we'll come out. How do we go back to the regular version here? So I'm meant to be in the regular one, and now I'm in this one. Oh, there we go. Back to the basic. So we have a calculator for the first time here in iPadOS. So you can do your basic 56 times 25, and you can work that out. You can calculate your tips, because tipping's a thing. So yeah, you can work out how much YouTube takes of every donation. When someone gives me $10, YouTube take 3. There you go. I can find that out right here. But we have other modes, of course, so we can actually change between those modes by tapping the calculator button down here. You got your scientific, so if you know what your cos and your tan and your sin mean, I don't. I had to in like grade 10 maths, and then as soon as I didn't have to, I didn't anymore. So you can do all of that business there. I keep pressing that button. That's the wrong one. Or the cool one is your Maths Notes mode. You can see here I've already played around with this and done some calculations, but let's just come down here and do something cool. So if I wanted to go, what is 30%? Oh, I've got to find a pen to type with. We'll make it red so it's faster. 30%, let's see if it does percentages of $80 equals. Oh, it doesn't like of. Okay, so it's already just ruined everything. Let's try that again. Let's go blue this time. Let's go, so we'll just go 0.3 times $80 equals. And by magic, it brings out the thing. And it doesn't even matter if my handwriting is terrible, which it is. It actually just reads it there. And you can do pretty funky stuff here. You can do like 14 over 37 times 21 over 6 divided by 4.7 equals 2.31, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I'm making these too big. So you can actually ensmallen them, and then it'll move things around for you. So it'll take, and see how it kind of does it in my handwriting? I mean, I don't do weird things like that through my 7s, but it gets it pretty good. It makes it look pretty cool. Try to calculate double integral. I don't even know what that means, so I wouldn't be able to do that. But it's pretty cool. For children that want to cheat at their maths test, I think this could be a pretty cool thing to use. Excuse me. Getting all choked up about it. So that's your calculator. You can play with that to your heart's content and have a lot of fun with calculations. How's our phone going? Preparing the update now. This is what takes a while. There you go. Oh yes, I'm sure people are like, what is penis timed booby? Should we show you the home screen? All right, the home screen customization is like probably the most controversial part of this new update. So to get to your home screen customization, you tap and hold on the home screen, you go to wiggle mode, but you'll notice you've got an edit button up here in the top left corner now, and we can actually edit pages. So editing pages means you can move your pages around, you can show or not show pages. So this is kind of cool. This was always really hard to do. So if you have a bunch of apps like right here at the end and you want to bring them right up to the front, you can actually shuffle your pages around, and if you untick them, you can actually not show an entire page of apps. So if you want to clean up your interface, you can do that. The other option you have, if you go back to wiggle mode, excuse all the weird, this is my old iPad, so it's got a heap of like old children's apps on there. So if you think I'm just sitting around playing My Play Home, I mean, it's not bad. It's a pretty good game. Just saying. Customize. So the customize options here. So one of my favorite things is to turn these apps from small to large. So it removes the text below them, as you can see there, and you have a large view there. You've also got the ability to go between light mode and dark mode, which you can see some of them have a dark mode, and some don't. So some of the apps that have been updated for iPadOS 18 will have a cool, like your Pinterest and your Heart one there and things, whereas others, like DuckDuckGo here, doesn't actually have that. You can go to automatic, which means it'll change between the day and the night when you need to, and the most controversial of all, you can go tinted. So if you want all of your apps to look red and terrible, you can do that. You have the power, you have the technology. And you can see here, see how it like took a little while, it had those like wireframe things around there. This is one of the reasons why I say, like, you will come across, even though this is now a version 1, version 0, it's no longer the beta version, it's still going to have some problems. You're still going to have little glitches that are going to pop up now and then. So only use this if you're really, really sure you want to. What else do we have? You can lock apps. So this is cool. You can actually lock an app. If there's an app on here you don't want anyone to see. So, I don't know. Let's say that you don't want anyone to know that you use Spotify. Then you can lock your Spotify app. To do that, you just tap and hold on the app, and one of the options here is to, I thought you could lock it. You could require Face ID for it, but I thought there was also a lock app. See if Tetris can lock it. Maybe I've got the wrong. Maybe you have to go into edit mode first to lock it. Oh, let's find out. Tap and hold. Nope, that's not it. There you go. I was going to show this, but I can't. So you can require Face ID, which means that for that app, you're going to, you can hide it and require a Face ID, or you can, that's what it is. You can hide it, not lock it. You can hide the app and require Face ID to do it. But in this case, we're just going to go require Face ID. And what that means is it'll ask for me face, it'll tick it, and now anytime I go to open that app, it'll require Face ID. If we wanted to hide an app, so say I wanted to hide this Spotify app, we can go here and we can go, that was the one we just did. Let's go Tetris. We really don't want people to see Tetris. We can go require Face ID and hide it. And what that does is it removes it, show my face, is it removes it and it hides that Tetris Beat app in my app library. So the place it puts those is all the way down the end here in your app library. Down the bottom here, there's this hidden section. And if we go to that, it wants my face again, and you can get access. I've hidden Cubasis and Tetris Beat in there, which is a thing, which is fine. Let's just jump out of there for just a moment before we go on to the next thing. Don't use Face ID. I love Face ID. I use Face ID on the regular because it just works well for me. Like, it's just so easy. I did resist it. I liked the button before, but now, not so much. So I'm just over here now because I'm downloading and it's preparing this update now. It's sucking down so much to download this 7 gigabyte file that it's made me go a little bit pixelated. So I'll just, it's nearly done with that. So things should improve again. I can jump off of Wi-Fi and that will improve things, but because of other issues, I'm using Wi-Fi to share my stuff over to here. So we'll just have to bear with it for a little while here. What else do we have? So that's your ability. You've got your control center. So you can do a lot of things with the control center, which you can get to by swiping from the top right corner. And the difference now is that we've got a few additional options here. If you tap and hold, just like you do, you've got the wiggle mode here. So we can actually change the size of the different widgets that are on here, and we can move them around. You can also add a control. So if you hit the plus button, you can add in a new control by tapping this add control button, and check out all the things that you can now change and have here in your control center. It is super cool. It is super useful. You got a heap of stuff here for accessibility, for hearing. You got voice memos you can add to there, all your different utilities, all your audio settings there. You can put your Shazam on there if you want to, all your home automation, your display, your brightness. There's a heap of stuff, and you can even search here. So if you just wanted to go, I want the brightness settings, you can search there and add in a bunch of new stuff to your control panel and have that set up. So because I use screen recording all the time, I have that as one. In fact, are we supposed to be screen recording right now? Let's stop that. All right. So we'll stop the screen recording. that I don't think that was affecting the Wi-Fi because that doesn't make sense. But I don't need to be recording that screen anymore. So yeah, that is the control panel. There's a lot of additional options there, and if like me you use this all the time and you've got specific things that you want to be able to access, very nice to be able to have a little more control over all of that stuff. You can even add so you can add shortcuts to that section, which means that you can launch a shortcut directly from your control center. How are we doing with this one? Do we do I drop this one off for the time being? It's just saying preparing update. Let's save ourselves some real estate here. I'm just going to stop mirroring that one for a little bit and see if we can get a little bit more of my bandwidth back here. What else do we have on iPadOS 18? Well, you got a heap of options in the photos. Let me just make sure that there's no photos here that are inappropriate to show you before we jump in there. I'm going to come back to my Photos app, and I think we're good here. Right. So what's new in Photos? So we've got a bunch of new stuff here in the Photos app. I will bring this across to show you. So the main thing here is when you come down here, it does all of this weird, funky, like grouping of things. You've got pinned collections that it does. There's much better access to things like the map to see what's going on there. And then down the bottom here, you got a bunch of different media types and utilities. And these are really cool. Go and watch a video all about these, but you've got much better control over things like duplicates. Your recently deleted are in there, your hidden photos, and a bunch of other things there. So I won't go deep into the Photos app because I haven't explored it that much yet. And there's not a lot there for creators, except for if, like me, you take a bunch of screenshots, you've always got sort of repeated versions of the same photos. That can definitely be a thing. Let me just jump off Wi-Fi here for just a while, and you'll hear a small pop. And we'll talk basically about a few things here. I'm really putting my my connection here to the test by having all the things going at once. So I've turned that off, and we've stopped mirroring that one to there. And yep, we should be okay and back to it. But again, another reason, this is just a warning of why you don't do this live, because it's preparing that update, it's downloading it, and it's using up all my bandwidth. So go figure. Some of the other things that we have that we can just talk about here rather than actually show you are things like messages. The messages have added the ability to tap back with any emoji or sticker. So you know how you do that thing where someone sends you a message and you're like thumbs up or you love heart it. Well, now you can actually do that with anything. And once we get it updated onto the phone, by and by, we'll see how that actually works. So yeah, having the ability to actually update and tap back with anything is kind of fun, I guess. You can also send text at a later time. So you can set a text and say you want to send someone a text, but it's like 3 a.m. and you're like, I don't want to forget to text my friend about that. You can actually go in there and say, oh, actually, I'll send this at 7 a.m. And that way you'll know that they're awake by the time that the message goes there. And RCS. So it's the death of the green bubble. Actually, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to use my wireless hotspot here so that I can get some of my internet back here. So I'm just going to turn on my personal hotspot here. I'm going to connect this phone to this phone. This is all behind the scenes stuff going on here. While it's updating this software update, it can do that over my phone's connection. But yeah, it's a good warning. It's a good warning for all playing along at home that you should make sure that you don't do this when you need to use your connection for other things. All right, that's connected now to my phone, so that won't be using any of the bandwidth here, and hopefully I'll get a little less fuzzy. Just go back into the control set. You'll watch later on, I'll go to try and reshare my phone, and I'll be saying, why is it not working? It's a bit weird. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the new Passwords app. So this is actually really cool. And again, I won't show you it here because I can't display things on my screen right now. But the new Passwords app basically takes all of your Apple keychain stuff and brings it all into one place. But it's more than that. It's not just your passwords, it's everything. So it's, when you get those confirmation codes, you get those text message codes, you get those one-time passwords, the OTPs, all of that stuff now gets stored in that one place. And it's across all your devices. And it's all Apple secured. So yes, you do have to trust Apple, which I do. I trust Apple more than I trust, most people, including my bank. But it is all stored in there. So it just means that, whenever you're getting those emails that are little codes and things you have to put into things, it's going to collect all that up and it's going to store it. Wi-Fi passwords, they're all stored in the Passwords app too, and you can share around from there. I think I can reconnect now because I've fixed the internet. So I'll reconnect my iPad here while we finish doing the iPhone update and see if I can just show you a couple more things. Where are we? I cannot remember. See, now I've changed everything on my what is it called? Thingy. I can't remember where everything is. Control center. Thank you. Words are great. So let's jump back over to here. So the Passwords app, which you can get to in here, stores everything. I'm just going to open it and show you what is in there. But I'm going to close it first because I don't think it's going to, let's use my Face ID. I don't think it's going to actually show my passwords in here. No, and none of those actually matter. Cool. So this is what you get. You get this list here, but check that out. You've got all of your passwords. You've got pass keys stored in here. You've got Wi-Fi passwords. I got 38 of them for some reason. You can delete things in here. You can add groups. You can share passwords with the family, which is cool. And every password you have is there. And there's even this security alert that can actually tell you if your passwords have maybe been reused, like been used across different things. So that can be kind of handy for you if you need a little bit more protection from other people or perhaps from yourself. It is weird. Like the swiping feels different. It feels like I have to swipe further and harder to get between things here. Just saying. I kind of buried the lead on this too, but one of the things that people are really happy about is the ability to not, as you can see here, you don't have to fill every space. And in fact, if we tap and hold, you can move these around and you can put them anywhere. So if you're, a psychopath, you can put your, you can put your icons like this and you can have them anywhere you like. So, I don't know, I guess if you were using specific particular pictures as a background, you could make sure that your picture wasn't ever taken up by icons. So if I had this picture here and I wanted to make sure no icons were down there, our poor old music memos there, we could actually shift this up here and I could make sure that you could always see the wonderful city of Adelaide there below on all of my screens if I wanted to. But yeah, it's something that you've been able to do on Android and basically every other device for, a couple of decades. So I think my Nokia phones used to be able to allow you to do this. I don't know, I'm more of a grid guy, but it is an option that you have there. So you can do that. Thomas doesn't like the larger icons to lose the text. Yeah, well, that's the thing. And some of them, yeah, especially if you've got like smaller things like this, I got no idea what half of these things are without the actual text of them. So yeah, if you want that text back there, you can come back to here. You can go to Edit and go to Customize and go back to Small. And I believe that also means when you tap there to open one of these, yeah, you still get the text of what the actual apps are within a folder of apps as well, which is handy. Yeah, exactly. For a giant corporation, you probably do want to remain a little skeptical. Don't put all of your eggs or apples in one basket would be my advice on that one, because yeah, it's a quick and easy way to run a cropper, as we would say here. Should we talk a little bit about macOS? There haven't been as much talk about macOS because there's not a whole lot to talk about. The coolest feature that I'm looking to try out is a feature where we can actually send your phone. So without things like Reflector that I'm using here, you can just control, you can not only mirror, but control your phone from your Mac. So a simple thing like someone sends you a message or something pops up on your phone, or there's a notification on your phone, instead of having to reach for, I know, it's simple, but instead of having to reach down to your phone and check your notifications and check things there, you can have your phone on your desktop of your Mac. Look, it's niche, but for someone like me, I think it could be handy to actually just have the ability to do that. Outside of that, yeah, look, there's the Passwords app, because the integration between the Passwords app on your iPhone and your iPad and then your Mac, that all needs to be on the same thing. So I'm actually a little bit tempted to update my daily driver stuff, but it will probably be on the 1st of October. Reason being, I got Songtember to do. So yeah, and hopefully by then there'll be at least a 0.01 version out that might have patched a few of the smaller things. If anyone has any questions, I don't know. The little line continues going along here. You can't see it, I know. But the little line is there. It's still saying preparing update. So I'm not sure that we're going to be able to show it on the phone. There's not really any difference with the phone. It's just vertical as opposed to horizontal. So everything I've shown you here on iPadOS 18 is almost exactly the same on iOS 18. But if you do have any questions that you would like to ask before we finish up here, you can go ahead and put a Q in front of your comment, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. In the meantime, we'll have a small sip of coffee, and just to let you know about some of the things that are happening around here. So it is the 17th of September. We have 2 weeks officially left of Songtember to go, which means, the update's verifying. There you go. Verifying update. It's getting ready to install. So we might actually reach our goal and get this done before we end the show. So we've got 2 weeks left of Songtember. I've got a couple of videos that I'm recording this week. If you're a patron or a member, you'll see some of that stuff live, because I sort of do what I call studio hours, where I'm just here in the studio and I do things, and then I chop those up and release those as videos. So, because I know that some folks, the more hardcore of you, like to see the full behind the scenes process, like every vocal take and every bit of mixing tweak. So if you do want to see all that, you can become a patron or a member of the channel. And then I do chop those up and put them out. So we'll be doing one on vocals, because I need to record in my vocals all the backing vocals. That'll be being done in the next day. I need to re-record some guitar parts and choose the guitar tones that I want to go with. I need to mix in those drums and make some decisions around some of the drum kit pieces that are in there. And then we're pretty close to the mixing phase. And because I kind of mix as I go, it's not like I sit down and I'm going to have to spend, a week mixing. I've given myself a week for mixing, but because I'm a little behind on my schedule, I'm not going to use a week for mixing, because I don't think I will need to. But yeah, it's interesting that I've gone like this. So my Songtember started. I felt pretty lack of confidence, and then I got my idea in, and I whacked out that demo in like a day. And then the acoustic song turned into an electric song, and I went really low on confidence again. And then I recorded some guitars in, and I'm like, nah, this sounds cool. And then I let it simmer for like 3 or 4 days, and then I felt like I was behind because I hadn't bedded down the guitar parts. So I say all that to say, you're going to do this. You're going to have some days where you feel amazing, on top of the world, the song's going perfectly, the birds are singing, the bees are having sex with them, so I've been led to believe. But then there'll be days where things go the other way, and you'll be feeling down, and you might be feeling even depressed or anxious about things. And, this is not only in music, but in life. But just so you know, I hear you, and I do it too. I feel it too. There's some days where I just walk in here, and I sit down, and I just go like this. And I just don't want to even. I can't even. And then I just go and make another coffee and sit here and stare at my screen. But then I'll go for a walk. I'll go play a video game. I'll drink that coffee, and then I'll sit down and get back to it. Or I'll go and clean the kitchen or the lounge room, which is a good thing. Use that positive procrastination. If you're trying to do something, you're like, I just can't even. Like my house is the cleanest in September, because I do so much cleaning and organizing when I'm trying to avoid doing what I should be doing, which is making music. But yeah, I just wanted to reinforce that you will have times with songwriting where it feels frustrating and you feel like you're going backwards and you feel like your song's crap and you feel like giving up. We all get it. At the end of the day, if the song that you produce in September of 2024 is a giant turd, doesn't matter. No harm, no foul. I've got songs, the last 5 Songtember songs, some I really love, some I don't love as much. And that's the way it goes. But they're all a time capsule. They're all like a segment in time that you can look back on and go, yeah, it's good. Can we share passwords on iOS 18, the password app with family running iOS 17? I don't believe so. I believe that everyone has to be. There is some sort of integration across your own devices, but some of the cool stuff like you can already do that thing where someone that's in your family goes to log into Wi-Fi and it says share the password with them. So that exists across the Apple keychain. But I think passwords will only sort of fully integrate. It'll semi-integrate with your own stuff, but I think everyone needs to move across, which could be a problem because some of my family's devices will not support iOS 18 or iPadOS 18. So if someone's got a correction on that, do let me know. Here's exciting news. The Apple logo's up. It's like there. It's barely moving. It's going to be a race. It's a race. 15 minutes. Do you reckon it can get across there? We'll see. Yes, exactly. The choices are overwhelming, and that's why sometimes you just got to dial it in and go with it and not stress too much about the exact tone that you're getting. Realize that if it sounds good, it is good, and you can go for it. There's Thomas Christ coming to the party with the membership and the Patreon information. So if you want more of a deep dive, you can go ahead and do that. I almost ditched my song. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you do get to that point, don't you, where you're like, ugh. But it's a funny journey to compose a song. Magician never reveals his secrets, except I do. I'm terrible at secrets. I couldn't keep secrets even if I wanted to. So I put everything out there on Front Street. I just blah, 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 blah. Just put it all out there. And then, use some of it. Don't use some of it. That's fine too. Here's the thing, not to get too introspective, but I don't really understand power. And what I mean by that is, you know how that you got to get the money first. You got to get the money first. When you get the money, then you get the power. When you get the power, then you get the women. Like, I understand the money, and I guess I understand the women. Like, I like relationships, but I've never wanted to have power over other people, and that's why I don't really understand things like war, because I'm like, once you have enough to be comfortable and you're rich, like, why these rich people want to be richer? And I'm like, oh, it's power. It's wanting to have power as a human over other humans. And that's why war exists. And that's why there's the evil tyrant billionaires. And that's why there's horrible hedge fund investors that just want to screw every dollar out of hardworking people so that they can have that ivory back scratcher. But yeah, I've got to remind myself that some people get off on the power or holding off information. The whole magician thing, it's like holding information away from people, gives them power and makes them feel important. I guess maybe I just feel important myself just because I'm kind of a nice guy. I don't know. Maybe not. No, Apple Intelligence is not a thing, not in iOS 18.0 or iPadOS 18.0 or macOS Sequoia 15.0. They will be coming in the .1. Yes, you just have to use your own human intelligence until we have... will it do housework? No. But you can set a reminder to go and do the housework there. So that's a good thing, I guess. I have a question about, can you use auto-tune on iPhone 12? Yes, depends on where and how and why. So GarageBand has something called enhanced tuning. You can use that one. It's also called pitch control. So if you add a vocal to GarageBand, something like the lead vocals, it will automatically have a tuning plugin on there. It's a very simple one. You dial it from 0 up to 100, and it will 100's T-Pain and 0's nothing. So you can just dial that in. BandLab has a really good auto tune. It's another free app that you can use on your iPhone 12. So the BandLab app. And I've got videos on how to use that as well here on the channel. If you search Pete Johns Auto Tune, my friend, you'll come across about 10 different videos about different ways to use Auto Tune, and anything that says GarageBand or BandLab next to it, those Auto Tunes are available for you on your iPhone 12. So hopefully that works for you. Yeah, Siri's still attending classes. Yes, we don't quite have Mega Siri yet. Oh, thank you. I mean, look, it's not. I don't need pat on the backs and stuff. But yeah, I do think that there's a lot of a lot of people focus on things that aren't relevant to them, and it's true. Like the whole bullying thing. In fact, I saw a really cool Instagram video that my wife sent me. Like she watches the little Instagram shorts and things. Not that sounded patronising, didn't it? The little Instagram, you know what I mean? Instagram reels. And she sent me one the other day, and it was about this dude that was like, when I overthink and I think that people don't like something I've done, I'm actually like projecting that onto them. I'm basically saying, oh, they probably thought this bad thing about me. And all you're really doing there is it's you. It's you projecting the bad thing onto them and then thinking they must have thought this about me. That's not saying anything about you. That's basically like under appreciating the other person and expecting. It's like when you say some faux pas thing to someone and then you like walk away like, oh my God, you don't see them for like 2 weeks. And then the next time you're like terrified because you're going up to talk to them and you're like, oh, they're going to totally remember that thing. And you're like, oh, hi. And you might even say, oh, sorry about that thing that I said last time. And they're like, huh? What thing? I have no recollection of this. Anyway, let's go get a beer. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, the whole worry about things, just so that what this guy said at the end, he's like, so in future, I'm just going to assume that everyone's cool and that no one has a problem with me. That has its own problems. Then you turn into someone that has no way of stopping themselves and no self-awareness of their flaws or foibles, which is just as big a problem. The whole American Idol syndrome, where you've been told how awesome you are for so long that you don't think you have any problems, and you've got, how some people have blind spots about things that they don't know about themselves. I think there's some people that are like 100% blind spot. All right, I'm just going to punch in my code below here so I'm not on camera, because guess what? Software update complete. Yeah, the green screen kind of wreaks havoc with it, but you can see there. Software update complete. So it is updated on my phone to iOS 18.0. So what did that take? We started at 15 minutes in. It was about 40 to 45 minutes to do the whole thing. It wants me to set up my Visa card. I'll do that later. I don't need to get my Apple Pay sorted right now. Now, I do share analytics with Apple sometimes. I'm hit and miss here as to whether I'll share them from this phone because, you know what, it can help. And I'll share with app developers too. You do you though, share, don't share. I'm going to set up Siri later. And now I've got welcome to iPhone and everything's back and hunky-dory. Should we go back onto the Wi-Fi and we'll bring this back up and we'll send this over. Nope, I don't have a mobile, so I'm not going to set that up. We will send this over just so that we can see that everything is good to go now. Here we are. So if you choose to install on your phone, this is what it's going to look like. Same sort of deal. So exactly the same sort of stuff here. You've got the same options to move things around. So if we tap and hold on here, you get the jiggles. And now the edit's on the top right here. And same thing, we can edit pages or we can customize. And when you customize, you can tap and move things around. No, you can't. We're out of wiggle mode. But you can go to the large icons. We can go to dark mode there. Oh, and I didn't show you this button. Over here on the left, there's this little sun button that goes... I can't remember what it actually does. Does anyone remember what this sun button does? I can't remember. It does something. But it goes to like a half sun thing or a whole sun thing. I think that might mean that it does it automatically when you... No, I can't remember. Anyway. But yeah, we can do the same things here. We can edit and we can customize and we can move things around. Edit. Can do that. We can add widgets, which I didn't really show before, but you can also tap and hold, edit, and add a widget. So you've got you can search for different widgets, or you can add your own apps widgets in here if you would like to add a widget to your screen. That's another thing that you can do there. And does the calculator work on the iPhone? Can you use the math notes here on the iPhone? I don't know. I've not tried it. Let's find out. Oh, you can. This will be really small. This would be a great way to cheat in maths class. You just pull out your phone and you just be like, oh, you gotta get a thing. Oh, why can't I? Why can't I? Oh, there. New note. There we go. How do I draw? 2 plus 2 equals. Hey, I'm a genius. So, yeah, it's 37 over 4 times 21 over 2. Yay! Nice. So, yeah, that's what we can do. We can resize these down. So this would be great. If you've got kids and they want to cheat at their maths, I highly recommend it. Alrighty. Lightens or dark? That's what it is. It lightens or darkens the background. No, not now. I don't want to set up Siri and Apple Pay. So yeah, that's your thing. That's what goes on there. You should go to voice memos and see if the new features. Yeah, I bet it doesn't, but it's a good point. Let's do that. What have we got? Yeah, we got 5 minutes left. Let's check out voice memos. That'd be wicked if it just randomly popped up here, wouldn't it? No, that's just the old versions of voice memos. Actually, let me just come off here for a sec in case it has. Yeah, it did. Sometimes it puts your like address in there when you make a voice memo. No. Hello. No, it doesn't have any of the new voice memos features. Did you see those? Did you see my video on the new voice memos features? They look pretty cool, don't they? But basically, it's someone did a thing that it's like, oh, why would you want multi-track on voice memos? I'll just open Cubases if I want to do multi-tracking. I'm like, I think you missed the point of this, bro. Yeah, I could open GarageBand and do multi-tracking. It's fine. It's just when you're trying to capture that idea and you're like, oh, yeah, I'll just try this and I'll try this. So, yeah. Righty. Yes, yeah, so it does works on iPhone too, which is fun. Hello, Owen. Biggest disappointment, I can't get messages via satellite, iPhone 14 only. Yeah, I didn't sort of talk about that. The messages via satellite option in the US and I believe Canada, you can now use that just recreationally. So it's not just for emergencies. For Australia, it's still only emergencies. In fact, it's only just been enabled in Australia at all, but it's still only an emergency system that we have here. You got 3 minutes, folks. If there's any final questions, you can throw them in here. I'll let you know again what's happening. So Songtember is continuing on. We got more videos coming throughout the week. Next weekend, usual lineup. We got the podcast on Friday morning, which is Thursday afternoon or evening, depending where you are in the world, and then we do the happy hour. And I haven't decided on that. If you got an idea for the happy hour, hit me up. Send me a message. Send me an email. Send me a note. Leave a comment and say play these songs, Johns, and I'll consider that. Your Music Live continues on. So we had a great YML yesterday, some really, really good tunes. So thanks to those that joined us for that. That was a good old time. And yeah, and then we've got GarageBand Weekly again next week, where by that stage we should be getting very close to the mastering stage for this song, because that'll be the 24th of September here. If I'm not ready for a final mix or close to a master, something's gone a bit awry there. The unhappy hour could be fun. I think I did that one. I think I did the sad hour before, but the unhappy hour might be a fun one where I just play all angry songs. Yeah, I don't know. Does that go against it? No, I'm sure I've done the sad hour. Yeah, we'll do all the angriest songs we can do. I'll play my song Bully. That always makes me feel angry about bullies who are dicks. All right. Did you update the new voice memos on the App Store for iOS? Mate, that's a good point. I haven't checked the App Store. Let's do that. Let's make that our final thing. Can you imagine if there is an App Store update here? That would be so sweet. But I doubt that that's it. Hello, Al. You've joined us just in time to see the end. Because that's a good point. Because sometimes you've got apps that don't actually update until you're in the new version. No, doesn't look like it. No, last version is this one here. No, there's no update there. We'll do a quick GarageBand check. This is GarageBand Weekly. Sometimes GarageBand gets an update for just no apparent reason. GarageBand. But no, it doesn't look like it, because there you go, 4 months ago is the latest version. Sometimes these come a little bit later, but yeah, there's no update for iOS 18 or iPadOS 18 just yet. We've got two beats that I made. When I merge together, it ends up sounding more quieter than what I said before. iOS, do you know how to fix it? They're probably too loud. Weirdly, if you're doing it in GarageBand, if you've got two loud sounds and you merge them together, they can often trigger GarageBand's auto normalization feature, which actually turns the volume down. So your best bet there is to actually lower the volume of the two things that you're merging together, then merge it and make sure that you're not clipping, that you're not at the maximum volume. And then it will either just turn it up to 0 dB, but it will not, because the problem is if it turns it up, that's fine, because it won't add any limiting. But if it turns it down, it uses an auto limiter, and that's where you get that weird sort of pumping sound at the top end. So that may be an option for you. If you're still having problems with it though, GarageBand user group over on Facebook, or hit me up in the comments here and give me more details. I'm always happy to help. And there's a heap of people here that hang out as well that can help. We're over time, folks, so that is going to do it. I hope this gave you a little bit of an idea of what iOS 18, iPadOS 18, and the new macOS are all about. One final warning: don't update unless you really have to or you really want to. If you want to, that's cool. But yeah, there's not anything, as you would have seen, there's not anything in here absolutely life-changing, especially as a creator. It's if you update and that one plugin that you desperately want to use doesn't work, you're going to be super sad. So just have a think about that and consider your options before you go ahead and do it. That is going to do it for this one, folks. Please, as we say at the end of each and every show around here, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, keep creating, and I'll see you real soon right here on Studio Live Today. Bye for now.